The new errors are a result of Vercel telling me that my site is just too ghetto for the internet. And if you didn't watch all the way up until this point, then what are you doing? I want Singularity Development to become a mega corporation, so I need to practice the art of paying others to make me money. Alright, well, here it is.
Wow! That's amazing!
Hey everyone, it's been many years and the great multitudes of my subscribers haven't had anything to watch for many years, and so I've been having to rewatch all the old videos over and over again. Well, I've gone back into web development, and just the other day I finished a big contract and I will soon begin to start another one. That being said, in the meantime I figured that I would go look over my old website and fix it up. You know, it looks like it could use a rejuvenation.
Rejuvenation?
Now, these first couple of steps of making a new website or rejuvenating is always fun. You get to scour the internet for inspiration, looking at cool stuff, pretending you're a hipster.
I hate hipsters.
So I started out with the logo of my company, Singularity. From there, I had AI prompt a few other designs. So I told it to have white background. I told it to have more saturation. And then I told it to look like an old JRPG Wii game that looks kind of nostalgic and dated, and it made this option to the left here just kind of look the same. But you know, AI works in mysterious ways. Using this old image I generated ages ago, long before there was AI, I went ahead and spliced on the AI generated art onto this old art to make this new kind of box art. I went ahead, opened up the same art in Figma, and kind of prototyped with mobile designs. I decided to make it so that on the site there would only be one product worth about $2,000, and that's the only thing you would buy, and you'll be prompted to get it right away. Eventually, I guess I came to my senses and decided to put a book meeting button there instead, but I kind of like the idea of having one great expensive product. I may come back to it later. Now that I know how the site should look, it's now time to start converting this 2D image to website code so that everybody wants to pay me
$400,000.
As you know, I want Singularity Development to become a mega corporation, so I need to practice the art of paying others to make me money. I'll start this process with Fiverr.
Let me tell you something!
The key to utilizing inexpensive labor is that you have to do your homework before you pay. Cheap labor is usually not cheap. You have to pay in the time it takes to clearly articulate what you want on paper. You can't just count on them knowing what you mean. And well, because my time is worth millions, I'm actually not being cheap and I'm balling out right now. And I'm totally not still living with my mom. Here's the description of the gig for the work to be done on Fiverr. I'm gonna pay them to texture my existing 3D model to look like the one in the concept art. I made the description airtight. I had AI look over it and fix it up, and then I fixed up what AI wrote. I added all kinds of images that I referenced in the description, and then went ahead and contacted 3 Fiverr freelancers, and we'll go with the one who seems to do the best job for the best price. FYI guys, it's been a few days in real life since the last cut. I was sick with the new trendy version of COVID, and so I was busy hanging out in public places to boost my serotonin via up-close personal and social interactions. Anyways, I'm gonna have the sick voice for the next couple of cuts. At this point, it's now time to actually write some code, and this is the plan. In a fresh project, I will set up a Three.js environment. Three.js is an API that lets you display 3D content on a web page in an easy way, like as if you were using Blender. But instead of using a mouse and keyboard to manipulate the scene, you use code to manipulate the scene. I mean, it would be nice to just use Blender, but Blender is not a web development software. That being said, it would be a game changer to take the time to learn something called the Draco loader for Three.js. The loader lets you turn 3D files that usually span megabytes into tiny double-digit kilobyte files. To say it simply, this will make it so my site loads way faster, looks much better, and will allow me to sooner get my
$400,000.
Alright, some IRL time has passed, and I know it doesn't look like much, but what you're looking at here is 3D rendered. It's rendered on the web browser. It's not an image file, it's actually rendered in 3D. And so it now has the capacity to be dynamic and react to the user's inputs as you scroll or do whatever on the screen. Here's the code and all, and here is how big the file is. As you can see, it's like about 35 kilobytes. And additionally, the freelancer got back to me and finished his work? Well, here it is in Blender. I just need to now port this file over to the Three.js Draco loader, which I've already done once. I just need to do again. As soon as I compress and import that 3D model textured by that fine Fiverr freelancer, I will begin prototyping and adding animations. One thing about boomers is that they could sniff out something that could have been done for a cheap price. Sorry to dunk on boomers. I find in this day and age, boomers have been a scapegoat by Gen Z, but you'll be surprised by how many boomer traits appear in Gen Z too. Anyway, no boomer is going to see my new 3D site with its animations as cheap. I've never used animations in Three.js, so I'm gonna have to research how to add animations to a Three.js project. It's my plan to have a nice little animation play on loop that will make the product look like it's floating. This 3D product animation will be played on the landing hero section of the site. Soon enough, I got the animations to work, and this was how I did it. I began by asking AI what keyframes to add to the 3D model to make it look like it's floating, and AI came up with the keyframes for me. Then I asked AI to make the code to play the animation in browser, and AI did that for me. Then I asked AI to make the background transparent of the canvas, and it did that for me. Then I asked AI to create the correct aspect ratio for the 3D canvas on the browser, and it did that for me. Okay, I know it sounds like AI did everything, including shake it for me, but trust me, I use my brain a whole lot. In this process, AI made a lot of mistakes, and only with my 10 plus years of experience in general 3D and other experience in web dev was able to articulate how AI messed up and how exactly it can fix its mistakes. For those of you who desperately want me not to use AI, I did spend a few hours fiddling with the CSS on the site, trying to get the 3D canvas containing the box art to appear in the proper place on the website, no matter what screen size you're using. I won't explain now,
I don't even have time to explain why you don't have time to explain.
but I don't trust AI to not waste my time when it came to doing that particular job. Alright, well, here it is.
Wow. That's amazing.
This is how the new Singularity Development hero section will look. I love it. It again passes the quality check a web agency should have for this day and age. With everything working on my computer, I decided to send my website changes to the internet so that all computers will load my site and see the new hero section. I tried pushing, but I was met with some Vercel errors. Fortunately, AI found a solution immediately and it worked. I went ahead, tried to deploy again, but I was met with another set of issues. This time, AI wouldn't be able to help me. I'll explain the error real quick. The Singularity Development website was built a long time ago, and back then, I used a version of Next.js that was old even for the time. The tech for Singularity Development is ancient. On top of that, in the past, I developed this site in a way that did not lend itself well towards long-term survival. Long story short, the new errors are results of Vercel telling me that my site is just too ghetto for the internet. Why did you do such a bad job with your own site, you might say? How could this happen?
Let this be a lesson for you.
Guys, hold your pitchforks. Look, this site has always been a bit of an overgrown placeholder. I mean, I initially made it because I needed a brand site really quickly, so I went ahead and downloaded a template and deployed it real quick. I quickly needed a page to display my products, so I went ahead and added product controls to the site. Now, I desperately need to fix the bugs and make it look nice, so I'm giving it a rejuvenation. This site has and will serve its purpose until I get the time to make the real thing. That being said, I implemented another hacky workaround, and the site lives another day. The contact me form stopped working first. In fact, this was not the first time a send me an email form broke for me. I've noticed that whenever you try and make a form that sends an email when someone fills them out, they tend to break easily. I've spent so long debugging the same issues with email sending that I'm now opting out of it. I'll explain my solution later in this video. There's another issue. I need to fix the lack of copy. As of now, the site shows the heroes, testimonials, portfolio, and a video. The site is sorely lacking any copy that tells the customers why I'm so great. It's a very humble website, and I can't have that and
$400,000.
at the same time. Partway through making the new copy and copy art, I realized that I may need permission to associate my site with their work. I sent a text to my client asking for permission, but I just decided to use client work that I already had permission for. Take a look at these new copy sections. I love it. Part of rejuvenating the site means improving the testimonials. Since I last put up the site, I worked with a few new people who had nice things to say about me. Better than that, I had pro pictures of them with their permission to put on the site. Look how pro Singularity Development looks now. Finally, I made the contact form update entries of my backend control dashboard instead of sending me an email. The creation of this new system involved a lot of the AI doing the thinking for me, while I again did most of the yelling. I made a bunch of small fixes, and just like that, Singularity Development is looking super pro.
I'm gonna do what's called a pro gamer move.
That's the site rejuvenated. It's been a long journey, but it has been worth it in the end. And thank you for watching all the way up into this point. And if you didn't watch all the way up into this point, then what are you doing? That being said, the site will soon need a stronger and bigger rejuvenation. Under the hood, it's just barely keeping itself above water. This new rejuvenation will be a much more hardcore and serious project involving more 3D and animations. That video will make this one look like a pipsqueak. Alright guys, thank you. I hope you're having a great day. Goodbye.